truth is, I've always hated Bill Maher. I think Bill Maher is a terrible human being. He has been an anti vaxxer for a very long time, which, considering that we just went through and are currently still going through a global pandemic, would have been nice if, an anti vaxxer didn't have a fucking show on any platform to spew his anti vaccine bullshit at everyone. That would be nice. But also, he postures as a weird sort of like I'm above it all kind of like person, even though it's like clear you're just like everyone else, a boring fucking white old dude with shitty fucking takes. And whenever somebody calls you out for it, you double down like every other fucking old white dude and complain about cancel culture and how they're all coming for you and that kind of bullshit. So fuck you, Bill Maher. We were all out here hating Bill Maher before he was cool. Even when I was a teenager with a spiritual fedora, who was a huge fan of Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, I still wouldn't piss on Maher if he was on fire. I will say, I went to see Religulous in the theaters. Religulous, if for those who don't know, was a film produced by Maher, starring Maher, with the premise being a critique of religion. Maher being an atheist. Okay, seemed like me in my young atheist phase. Well, I'm still going through it, but at least I was a little bit more aggressive of an atheist. I actually think that the movie itself played a big role in sort of like starting to tone down my aggressive atheistness. Jody, you have given Mar more money than anyone ever should. Fair enough. Fair enough. But so I go to see this, and I feel like the movie, like as I was saying, it toned down my aggressiveness in part because the whole movie is very light, and I don't think it was for most of it. I don't think it was terrible. Light ribbing at religion is great. Why not? You have a few chuckles a bit like, can God lift a stone? So like, can God create a stone so big that even He can't lift it? You can go, ha, 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 contradictions. It's funny. Ha, ha, ha. Wonderful stuff. Great material. A plus, sure. But then what really throws you out of this fucking movie, okay? So you're going the whole length of this movie of all just light ribbing, poking fun at religion, all this fun stuff, till like the last 5 minutes, where all of a sudden he's like standing in some area in Israel, and excuse me, and then started like talking about how uh, this land is wanted by two different people, and one of the people are like insane jihadists who are like going to wage war of eternal damnation to like with nukes and like kill us and bring on the apocalypse. And then it's just like Quran quote after Quran quote, all with like mushroom clouds going in the background. And I left just going, holy fucking shit. Like, how are you? It felt like to me like that whole thing was a setup to go, Islam is worse and you should be terrified by it. Meanwhile, like, I knew that that wasn't true, you know? And so it just, that alone made me go, fuck Bill Maher for having a take like that. And for, like, the fact that people were going to the theaters to watch this, like, it was like, part of me was like, at first, I'm like, great. Some movie of atheist representation was getting a theatrical release. How cool. But then have it like turned into like an anti-Islam propaganda piece was just fucking disgusting. And so yeah, I don't recommend people watch it. It's not worth it in the end. And I'm sorry Tim for letting you down. Yeah, it's amazing that the only good parts of the film is people owning themselves while Mar just sits there. Yeah. I think there was like one part where they're talking about the Jonas and the whale, and I think like Bill calls it a fish, and the guy gets mad at him that it was really a whale, and like there's like a funny like exchange there. Hey, folks, isn't religion silly, by the way? Brown people are terrifying, and we should probably explode them. Yeah. No, it was, that's pretty much the premise of the movie, so. Terrible stuff. So what is this? Speaking of Bill Maher having shitty takes, I wouldn't recommend anyone watch his show, ever. Terrible fucking show. But he decided to have a boomer moment, uh, considering that this piece is about boomers anyways, and he's mad. He's mad at all of us. All of us millennials out there who want to throw shade at the boomer generation when it's like, what are you millennials really doing about it? And so here's the shtick that we get. Enjoy.
And finally, new rule now that the latest climate conference is underway in Glasgow, Scotland, and Greta Thunberg has once again shown the world that she is the conscience of her generation. Someone must tell her, you may be the conscience of your generation, but you don't represent it. I really wish you did, Greta, but you don't.
Who, like, I want to stay right off the front there. Like, who said she did represent us? Who made this claim? I like even this like weird claim of like the conscience of our generation. Like, it's not to say that other generations didn't have their own conscience or like people who did things that were in the same light as what Greta's doing, inspirational and good. Granted, I think I can't wait for Greta to start coming out being like, we need to destroy pipelines and destroy roads. That's my if that's Greta's next arc, I'm all here for it. We need her to become not the conscience, but the person with the megaphone directing.
But I can show you who does. Greta, you have 13.
Speaking of, oh, actually, this wasn't. Is this one of the Jenners who did hand the Pepsi, or is this a different Jenner? I always get my Jenners confused.
13 million followers on Instagram, which is great. But Kylie Jenner has 279 million, which is more. I mean, seriously, who is the real...
Imagine thinking that Instagram followers were somehow like indicative of something meaningful. That's like, not only is it like weird because, I mean, let's face it, whoever's following both Greta and Kylie on Instagram here, they don't have to be the same age or generation as those people. Some of those people could be old fucking people that are following Kylie Jenner. That is also quite possible. I mean, and granted, the larger you're following, the probably more diverse it is in terms of an age range. I don't think it is all just like 5-year-olds. Get with it, Jody. Instagram equals political power. This is Kylie. The Pepsi handle is Kendall. Fair enough, Tim. Thank you for your Jenner knowledge. As we all know, your conscience represents you. Isn't your conscience meant to represent your most moral impulses, independent of your actual behavior on average? The metaphor doesn't even work.
Influencer in that generation? The model citizen or the model? The young woman who refuses to fly or the one who refuses to fly commercial? You see what I'm saying? Greta gets where she's going on a sailboat powered by the wind. Kylie takes a private jet powered by Exxon. And she's 21 times more popular.
So? So? It's like, oh, so Greta believes things and is active and therefore the existence of other people who are maybe a little bit more superficial and materialist negate everything that she does? Ha ha! What? The fact that this guy has a show. Who? I will say this. My parents used to watch Bill Maher, especially when he went after his like Trump material. That's the demographic that he's appealing to, is fucking boomers like my parents. And I love my parents, but you know, the fact that they watch Bill Maher is a slight on them, I think.
Now, this is not a screed against comfort or capitalism. I'm fond of both.
I mean, that's probably a bigger problem, I would say, about this video, is that you're a fan of both of those. Maybe you should listen to the conscience that you were referring to a bit earlier, rather than your impulses to agree with the structure that is causing the problems that you seem to be quasi, like you're. It's weird because you're like, I support all these structures that gave us climate change, but I'm gonna sit here and criticize Greta because she's mean to my generation. What a fucking soft-skinned, stupid fucking old white man. Fuck him. Kylie has more Instagram followers than Trump, Biden, Gates, Bezos, Musk combined. Ergo, she has more power than them combined. I am smart. Thank you, Nam. That is a very great insight. Just wonderful.
And I give Kylie credit. She's built a massive business empire without ever releasing a sex tape.
That's creepy.
And like her dad, she's a self-made woman.
Oh, and then you get the added transphobia thrown in there for good measure. I completely forgot about that. So there you go. Way to go, Bill Maher. You're so original. You're the next Dave Chappelle, Bill Maher. Way to go. Is that Glenn Lowry? I'm pretty sure that was Glenn Lowry. I don't know who that person is, but I'm pretty sure that that's Glenn. That's fun. He's involved with the University of Austin, Texas, if that makes you feel any better. At least it is. I don't want to be accused of, like... Yes, I'm pretty sure it is Glenn Lowry. Okay, cool. Seems about right.
But Kylie embodies and embraces a lifestyle that is pretty much the opposite of carbon neutral. And the younger generations fucking love it. Last week...
Do they? Do they? I mean, let's be real here. I know more people who hate them than love them. And I think probably a lot of people follow them, one, probably because of the attractiveness, the idea of like they like following these attractive people. A lot of people do that, celebrity worship, all that fun stuff. But a lot of people probably watch them or hate follow them. I get that vibe. I think a lot of their content, or a lot of the people that follow them, are going to be people who are just like, I want to watch celebrities and fucking call them idiots when they post stuff. I mean, I get hate followers, and I don't have that many followers, so. Hollow points if you got them. What? And Kyle Moore. Yep, I don't like where you're going with that, Cottonmouth, so maybe you should stop. And if you say something again, I will ban you. Okay, you're being banned. See you later. Goodbye. Yep. Cotton Rittenhouse advocates have no place in my fucking chat. You can get the fuck out of here. Don't need that shit. But yes, I think people hate watch Kylie or the Kardashians and the Kardashian extended universe. I think get a lot of hate watch. I don't think, I think most people talk about like watching the Kardashians. They don't usually do it in like an uber positive way and be like, I'm here because I really love the Kardashians and I just want to support them. Most of them are like, look at this embarrassing family in their like opulence, and I want to mock and think they suck, and that's why they watch it. They did this in a previous stream. Well, now they're banned, so now they won't be doing it in a stream ever again. So So there we go. I should maybe we should have I should have some additional mods at some point too, because we get a lot of racist people. That person has just been annoying before, not like straight up fast shit. Yeah, yeah, it was someone who just supported Kyle Rittenhouse. That's all. Anyways, let's continue, shall we? Here we go.
Kylie posted a tour of her shoe closet, which houses well over 1,000 pairs. She also has entire rooms of things she only's worn once. I don't think Greta would approve of that.
I actually don't think Greta cares about that. I don't know. I don't know. Should I mean this is like, you know what this kind of has the vibe of? There was one episode of our podcast where I guess Greta was in Alberta and she was traveling all over North America, so both Canada and in America. And she was given, I think, electric vehicles from Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, "Here, you can use my electric cars or something." So she was driving an electric car. Not her, she was, I think her parents were driving. And while they were in Alberta, Kean Bexty released footage of what he claims was her car with him like looking through the window. And through the window, if this even was her car, was like clearly like debris from someone who ate lunch, like takeout from a restaurant, and there was like, you know, disposable forks and like what appeared to be some kind of like styrofoam case or something like this. And then it was like, gotcha, Greta, look at you trying to care about the climate. Meanwhile, you're using disposable plastic forks. And part of me wants to say, okay, even like, even if that was her car, which again, not sure that it was, who cares? Like, part of what she's saying and part of like what the important thing is the issue isn't people's individual life choices, but the fact that the government refuses to actually fucking do anything and create structural changes that will actually change shit. Because like, I'm sorry, most people are poor and have to make individual choices that are not like carbon neutral. That's just the way that everything is fucking set up right now. So until you have systems in place which incentivize this behavior, nothing's going to get done. And I don't think I've ever heard Greta being like, you individually like, it's all incumbent on you individual to make all the choices, because most of her rhetoric is targeted towards the UN, to governments, and being like, why aren't you doing something? Why aren't you creating the structural change necessary to create the world in which we can get carbon neutral and to ameliorate the incoming climate catastrophe?
In polls, young people always claim to be more concerned about climate change than other generations, but they don't act like it. They throw around buzzwords like sustainable and shame people who forget to bring a cloth bag to Trader Joe's. But one of their favorite YouTubers is Mr. Beast, who's famous for stunts like, I gave my 40 millionth subscriber 40 cars. Jason.
Who's Mr. Beast? Who's Mr. Beast? And do you think, again, do you like, who do you think the like, who's watching that? It can't just all be fucking young people. This is such a weird comparison. Like, to be basing it off of like YouTube watches. I mean, for one, 81 million views, so that's could be like multiple watches, it could be like many things. But then it's like, what about like the majority of people who didn't watch this video? What if a majority of Zoomers just aren't watching Mr. Beast's content and are like off reading books? I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it's like, this is not the way to make your argument. This is so stupid. Mr. Beast's most recent stunt was a giant environmental cleanup initiative. You could not have picked a worse example. He was also in that big tree planting thing. Yeah, what if they were like environmentally sustainable cars? Also, did he really give them 40 cars? Probably fucking not. Yeah. See you, Viking Man. Have a good night.
Jason Derulo celebrated his 22nd millionth follower by eating 22 hamburgers.
Yes, we can say Jason Derulo, is that what they said this person's name is? He is single-handedly responsible for climate change for the fact that he ate this many burgers. It's all his fault. The climate is ruined, and if he didn't eat those burgers, everything would have been fine. But he did, and therefore, a life is, as we know it, is over. So, this makes no fucking sense, Bill Maher. Like, why do we care? Why do I care about what one individual person does? What I care about is the systems in place, you know? I hate these boomers so much. I know. This is so embarrassing. He should feel embarrassed. That face, I mean, it looks kind of like he's coming in his pants, but it should be the face of like, I am ashamed that I am alive. That's what it should be.
The cognitive dissonance between planet-destroying conspicuous consumption and planet-saving rhetoric is breathtaking. You say you love Greta and her message, but everything else you love is a climate disaster. Far from rejecting consumerism, young people are so obsessed with labels that venerable fashion houses like Balenciaga have pivoted from selling couture dresses to rich women to selling baseball hats to teenagers.
For one, I want to know like what universe he exists in. Like clearly to me, he exists in a realm which this stuff becomes like somewhat relevant. And I realize it's probably his writers coming up with this. He probably doesn't come up with this shit himself. But like, I don't even know what Balenciaga is. You know, I'm one of those hip millennials he's referring to. I guess he's talking about millennials and Zoomers here, but like I'm you know, I'm in that demographic, and I don't know what the fuck Balenciaga is. I mean, I guess I'm using a computer. I'm using a computer and a cell phone wherever my cell phone went, and it's made of like materials mined on the planet and causing damage to the earth. So I'm one of them hypocritical young people. That's me. That's me.
And where does a 20-something get the money to pay $400 for a hat that borrows the Bernie Sanders logo?
Because maybe that was a successful grassroots campaign that they want to like copy. Like, why do people wear Chase shirts? Why, like, the other thing is like we still exist in capitalism. Like, yeah, fucking, of course, people like are consumerists. Of course. What do you think? Like, we're just not like the only. This is that stupid meme picture again of the like, oh, you hate capitalism and yet you're buying capitalist products. Hypocrite much? Like, I'm sorry, what do you want me to fucking do? Of course I consumed, how dare me, you know? Here I am on this show. Earlier, I was preaching about how we need to, like, I don't know, fix the planet by supporting what's sweating, you know? And yet, I purchased Diet Pepsi and rum and drank it. So, clearly, I am a fucking hypocrite. Curious, you participate in a society? He lives in a world where people wear hats like that. It's a mighty small bubble just inside his anal sphincter. Funny thing is, I would have never have known about whatever this is if he did not bring it up.
Because you're like a socialist and stuff? From mommy and daddy, of course, those huge assholes who ruined the planet. Oh, and also maybe by trading Bitcoin, the mining of which is worse for the environment than actual mining. Cryptocurrency uses more energy than Netflix, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Google combined, and more than some entire nations. And yet young people could not love it more if it came with a side of avocado toast.
I have never seen like demographic information on cryptocurrency use. I don't think a lot of people do cryptocurrency stuff. If anything, I feel like the demographic mostly into cryptocurrency shit is like Gen X tech bro nerd entrepreneurs are the ones who are fucking into that shit. I don't know a lot of like, in fact, a lot of the people that I follow, which I don't know, I'm not like the number one demographic, but I know a ton of people that look at this and be like, this is a fucking scam. And yes, it is destroying the environment. But it's like weird, like, cause I'm guessing there are boomers who also purchase Bitcoin. Like he makes it out, it's like it's the millennials that just, or millennials or Zoomers that are the ones mostly supporting Bitcoin. And I don't know that to be the case. Like engagement with the existence of crypto tracks age, so younger people make up the people who both love and hate it most. Yeah, probably because like old people, I guess the old people might be more willing to get into it if they even knew how to like work technology in the first place, right? But instead they're like, what is this? Meanwhile, they own stocks in Monsanto or like Cargill. But generation is much less useful than say being a tech weirdo or being someone who loves all forms of financial speculation. No, it's like some boomer going, all these youngsters are investing in Bitcoin, which is destroying the environment. I'm gonna hold on to my shares in asbestos. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
94% of crypto buyers are either millennials or Gen Z, which makes it ring a little hollow when you're out there chanting for us to put the planet ahead of profits. And what do...
So, I mean, this, you know what would be a more relevant statistic? So that's interesting that 94% of crypto buyers are Gen Z slash millennials. Okay? There's several other statistics here that I think would be relevant that he doesn't touch upon. One would be how many of those crypto buyers are like what is like the distribution of like how much they have. So it could be that like those tech bros that I was saying that are more like Gen X, maybe they own the most cryptocurrency, but like the additional like the majority of buyers at large who own a couple crypto here and there are spread out, right? So this number alone doesn't really tell you all that much. Uh, the other thing is it doesn't tell you is 94% of crypto buyers might be Gen Z or millennial, but how many Gen Z millennial types are actually buying cryptocurrency? What percentage of that? Because if it makes a small percentage of millennials and Gen Z that are the ones doing the majority of the trading and all that shit, then what does that tell us? That it's a niche phenomenon that's doing this extensive damage. Maybe a niche thing that mostly rich people are playing into, right? But no, we just get this like real superficial statistic to bolster his pseudo point here.
For us to put the planet ahead of profits. And what do crypto fans say about this? They say, well, yes, it uses too much energy now, but in the future, oh yeah, the future, that's right. Same thing my generation said. Let them handle it in the future. I'll get mine now. Like Bitcoin, the smartphone is a huge contributor to carbon emissions because the cloud isn't an actual cloud, of course. It's a vast network of servers using energy, and all that liking and following and subscribing requires lots of fossil fuels. And yet you would need the jaws of life to pry a phone out of the hands of anyone under 30.
like, who cares? Bill Maher and crypto. Oh boy, I joined at a great time. Hello, Eric. Kids be phones, am I right? I mean, it's just so. His argument here, if you haven't seen this video, is him trying to claim that how dare millennials and Zoomers criticize boomers for destroying the planet when we are in the process of also destroying it. And part of me goes, I, my criticism of boomers is the similar critique of like maybe they should have fought harder for the structural changes necessary, but instead they voted for Ronald Reagan and shitty things ensued, or Margaret Thatcher, depending, location. And so it's like it's just so silly for him to be like, "Oh, what you guys are doing consumerism today, which is destroying the environment. And even though you say that things will get better, I mean, like, then why do you criticize us when we bought all that polluting stuff and we thought things were just going to magically get better too, but they didn't." I don't know. That's like his argument. It's so fucking stupid.
What would it take to convince Gen Z and millennials to give up their phones? A pollster once asked. 43% said it would take $5 million to give up their phone. 1 in 10 said they'd sacrifice a finger for it.
This is such a silly thing. Like, of course. Like, this stuff, like, connects you to your friends. And I wonder, like, was this poll done during the fucking pandemic? Because I feel like that would have swayed shit too. But, like, yes, like, what are you saying? Like, if you just remove a single person's phone, how much would you do that for? And it's like, oh, so you want me to be the lone person who's completely disconnected from the rest of society? You want me to just make that choice? It's like, no, that's going to cost a lot for me to sacrifice my entire social existence for this weird fucking thought experiment. And he's using it as like, oh, those young millennials really, really attached to their phones. They're just so attached to their phones. Bill Maher doesn't understand human connection. No, he doesn't. Clearly.
For it. That deserves a high 4.
Oh, I missed that joke. Let's go back and listen to how
Sacrifice a finger for it.
Oh, the finger. Okay.
That deserves a high 4.
Now, what does that say about his dexterity that he couldn't get? He wanted to get this finger up to do like a high 4, right? But he lacked the ability to raise that finger, so he's something's going on there. Oh yeah, I get so much more incremental value out of one of my 10 fingers than one of the major ways I interface with my friends, family, job, and wider world. Mar testing out some 2011 material, I see. Yeah. My God. Of course, Glenn Lowry goes in for the high 4. Yeah! Yeah! University of Austin, let's go! For some people, their phone is their only access to the internet, e.g. banking, job searching, education. Yeah, but no. Young people. Checkmate. Checkmate.
Look, I know it would be fire to be able to both live like Kylie and also save the planet, but you can't do both. Last year, when Australia was devastated by wildfires, Greta reminded us that we still fail to make the connection between the climate crisis and increased extreme weather events.
So notice, what do we read here in the tweet, too? It says, not even catastrophes like these seem to bring any political action. How is this possible? Because we still fail to make the connection between the climate crisis and increased extreme weather events and nature disasters like the Australian fires. That's what has to change now. Notice that she's not calling for individual actions. She's not saying that the person who was a YouTuber that ate 20 burgers or a millennial who wants to hold onto their cell phone, or to have it removed, they'll get $5 million or have their finger removed. She's talking about political action, structural change, the larger picture. It has nothing to do with what individual people should choose to do with their lives. I once ruined a date by making fun of Bill Maher to the only Bill Maher fan I've ever met. Well, I guess you dodged that bullet. A bullet for sure. I love that Cortez said the or you responded in the same way, Eric. Emphasis on bringing political action. Yeah, exactly. Holy shit. And aren't you heading into fire season again, Tim? Stay safe. Stay safe, my friend. Yeah.
Kylie, too, was moved by the disaster and tweeted about how the loss of animal life breaks her heart. Then she quickly followed up with a post of her new $1,500 Louis Vuitton mink slippers.
You see, if she didn't wear those mink slippers, there wouldn't have been the fires in Australia. You know, there's a direct one-to-one relationship between the wearing of mink slippers and the devastation and destruction of every single koala left on Earth. They're completely tied together. Her personal life decisions to wear a particular slipper of a different animal creature is correlated to the climate crisis causing fires in Australia, which almost wiped out the koalas. Or I guess kind of did wipe them out because of their breeding capacity, but yeah. Celebrities so rarely hypocrites. Right? Checkmate, teenage environmental activists. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I know, he just thinks he's clever, but everything he says is so dumb. My God. Meaningful countermeasures need to be coordinated on a structure. Okay, you're saying the same thing there. It's just so stupid. My God. My God.
It's always so sad when fire kills potential slippers.
Oh, because she's wearing. Oh, I get it. Minks are really koalas. Oh wow! Look. He needs to rehydrate his lips here. What a fun-loving guy. Like I'll let you know. Like maybe now, hear me out. There might be an ethical difference between some kinds of animal consumption, namely like minks. I don't know that minks are endangered, and I don't know, making sure that there's no more koalas left to roam the earth. Maybe these things are like on different scales of importance. Uh, I'm curious. I can't even remember how to spell. Is it Manx or Minx? I was just gonna say. Oh, I see how I spelled it wrong. Let's see what we got here. I just wanted to know if they're endangered or not. They're probably not. No, I can't find the animal. I thought I was spelling it correctly. I just keep getting a cat, but I know it's not a cat. I don't know why it wants me to do a cat. Oh, there we go. Finally, look at that. Let's see if any of these minks are on the endangered species list here. Guess we don't know. Let's the American mink. Of least concern. Of least concern. I mean, you might be cute and all, but we're of least concern for you, bud. I wouldn't wear you as a slipper, all right? Let's just be fair. I would never wear you as a slipper. But if one of you happens to become a slipper, least concern. Okay? Now let's for the sake of comparison. Koalas. Vulnerable. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't make koala slippers. Oh. Jody, read chat. Oh no, wait. Oh no, what did I do? Minks can get COVID. They had to kill all the mink fur farms in Europe because of it. What is this? Greta did Greta did the fires. No difference between those animals or the context, from what I understand from this. Okay. Then we had to kill all the minks because we did fuck all about the pandemic. No, we farmed minxes and had to kill a shit ton of them because they had COVID. Yeah. Denmark killed 17 million. Right? The Danish minx farm outbreaks, a few apparently broke out and may have spread it to wildlife in Europe. Jesus Christ. So we need to kill the minks because they're COVID spreaders. But have you considered that the only thing keeping the fires at bay were the minks? So the minks were firefighters. May have spread COVID to wildlife in Europe. Okay, well now you're getting mad at me. I mean, Viano's bullying me here and telling me I need to pay attention to chat. And it turns out some people were a little bit are rushing to judgment on the minks here, and they're spreading the COVID. Solidarity with Kylie on this one for killing the minks. Yeah, so that's what it is. Kylie wore the minks to save us all from COVID. Thank you, Kylie. Now she has to kill the koalas to save us from syphilis, right? Isn't there some sort of relationship with koala and syphilis? Let's see. It's got to be human relations. Or maybe I control F syphilis. Do it. Oh. Nope. That's not happening. Oh, I'm spelling syphilis wrong, aren't I? Yes, I am. I don't know. I'm spelling it all wrong. Maybe it's not here. I thought they were like they had some sort of, or was it chlamydia? Chlamydia! Chlamydia. Chat, you've done it again. So, save koalas. Don't have sex with koalas. I think we're on the right track with that. Okay, cool. Kill minks. Save koalas. Have sex with humans. Figured it out. Figured it out. Don't worry. Don't worry, Bill Maher. We're on the case. All right, we're on the case.
Kids, you're going to have to make a choice here. Do you want to be progressive or excessive? Team drastic or team plastic?
I mean, think about this like weird dichotomy as well. It's like as if every generation is like either progressive or this. It's like every generation has been chock full of both progressive people and complete fucking shitwads. Like, welcome to humanity, Bill Maher. Welcome to humanity. Like the nerve to think that somehow our generation was going to come around and we were all going to be like perfectly great progressive left-leaning human beings, but instead some of us happen to take after our parents and we're complete fucking conservative shitbags like the rest of them. Wow, what a surprise. Complete shocker. Bill will never stop me from paying money to throw garbage in the ocean. Minx is the gender neutral of mink. Hell yeah. Minx. We need to go to war with minx, though. That's how it is. It's almost like generations contain the entire cross section of all kinds of people who exist, so you can't really criticize what they want as a monolith. Yep, that's pretty much how it is. Vienna wants a Chairman Mao quote, so I will hand that out. But before I get to the quote, though, just to riff on what you're saying there, Tim, uh, it really is just annoying that anyone talks about generational psychology this way, anyways. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I hate generational psychology. It, like, to think that most of us are all, that everyone that was born within, like, a 20-year time frame from September 11th all have a sort of, like, generalized uniqueness that hides them off from the 20 years prior and the 20 years ahead is just fucking absurd. Generational psychology is pseudoscience, in my opinion. I stand by it. I know there's some people who work in the field and think that they're generational psychologists. I just think that it's all fucking pseudoscience. Hopefully, Mao has something to say about fur farms. I feel like, did we read this first one? We might do two again, just because I can't remember if we read the first one or not. So we are now on classes and class struggle. So here's the first one. Oh, we did read that one. Yeah, okay, we read that one. So I guess we'll do the second one. This is a very short one. So here we go. Here it is. In class society, everyone lives as a member of a particular class. Who knew? And every kind of thinking, without exception, is stamped with the brand of a class. On Practice, July 1937. It seems to me like Mao endorses generational psychology. Oh my god. There you go. I mean, it's more just like in terms of class politics. People belong to a class. Mao writing about avocado toast. I don't know how that was on Praxis either. Like that's on practice. That's like the other part of it too. Or why like you read an entire work like on practice and you pull that one sentence out and go there, look at that. He mentions class. And did you know that people in a particular class share elements of each other because they're of that class? Just like Bill Maher here is a rich fucking old white dude and has a lot in common with other rich fucking old white dudes. Who would have thought? When does Mao start getting spicy? So far, he's got me on board, but for how long? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We're still like close to the beginning on this, so I'll have to get a bit more into it. Let's see if the dolphin finishes off that six pack. All right.
When Kylie's lifestyle becomes uncool and unpopular, and you stop loving Bitcoin and stop thinking that stuffing your face is harmless, I'll take you seriously.
Stuffing your face is harmless. Man who smokes cigarettes and marijuana cigarettes and breathes in fucking smoke into his lungs. Yeah, fucking piece of shit.
Until then, shut the fuck up about how older generations ruin the planet.
Older generations ruin the planet. I'm not going to shut up about it. I mean, you could have done things. You didn't. You ruined the planet. It's not like climate change emerged once the millennials arrived. And like just because like here's the other thing that's really annoying about this. Boomers are overrepresented in the political class. So even if it is the case where we are now starting to become a larger demographic that Gen X could never obtain because the baby boomers were so large and just so dominated, the boomers are starting to die finally. You know, it's sad, all that fun stuff. People dying, okay, but they will go away forever, and they will be replaced by us. And then we can assess to what extent we're going to change that political culture. But right now, the boomers are still the roadblocks to actually getting shit done. Still, in our current day and age, in the political sense, not the fucking whatever. So because some people really enjoy Kylie Jenner, and look at me, I'm drinking a soft drink just like everyone else, that I'm just as at fault as fucking old people who failed to consider the long-term ramifications of their political behavior. People just eat too many sandwiches. Please ignore our cruise ships. Yeah. I'm so mad he didn't make a joke about minxes getting COVID and climate change. The joke was right there, but he wasted it because he's a dipshit. I just love that he's inferring that viewing her is an endorsement as opposed to simply if this private citizen is going to have an over the top lifestyle, you might as well gawk at it if you're interested, even if to condemn it at every step. He's so dumb. I mean, but that's the point I was making. Most people fucking hate watch the Kardashians. I've never met a single person to defend the honor of the Kardashians. I've never seen it. It would be one thing if people were like, "So you got it all misunderstood," the Kardashians. It's instead they're like, "Fuck these people." But do you want to go watch the burning house? This is fun. That's like the element of it. I don't know. It's so tempting to say that boomers dying off is hella good. You know, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. At least in terms, again, it has nothing to do with individual boomers. Individual boomers, completely great, but their political class, complete shite. Now, I don't want to say that my political class is all that better. I mean, some of my generation became the alt right. We're not perfect, but I'd like to think maybe if say people like AOC are more representative of my generation, or Matthew Green in the Canadian context, then maybe that's we need more of them in power, and maybe we'll get shit done. But maybe we'll find out that even our generation is full of pieces of shit like Bill Maher, and it's just going to be an inevitable slow walk, or even faster walk now to our demise. So, fuck millennials. Older generations made the world worse. Sure. I mean, here's the other part of this. Who cares? Who cares? Like if people all of a sudden start making the statement of like fuck millennials, to say Zoomers come of an age, or like my kids grow up and they're like, you guys, your generation didn't do enough, and I'll be like, you're right, you're right. My generation sucks. Why? Like, what's with the fucking reactionary politics all the time? Why does it matter whether the boomers get to keep their honor or not? Why does that matter? Like, I don't give a shit about millennials as a general thing. I don't get that impulse to be like, I need to defend the boomer honor. I need to make sure that people think of boomers as being super important and like dignity and respect, and they tried so hard voting for Ronald Reagan. They just tried so hard. Vienna was putting Jody, Elron, and I up against the wall, and honestly, the right is. Oh my god. Maher is such a low effort grifter, and the fact they could find enough people shameless enough to clap at his hack jokes is bewildering. Yep, Gen Z fash are gonna be so fucked. I mean, that's the thing. If like the fash it also gets generationally worse, then yeah, Gen Z fash is gonna be off the chain. I mean, we're already isn't wouldn't Nick Fuentes be Gen Z? He's probably close enough. God, I hope younger generations get in power that are to my left and are pissed off at my reactionary right wing politics. I would be living the dream. To be honest, I'll say right here, I feel caught in between because like there's younger people who are still capitalists as well. There's Gen Z fucking libs. Gen Z libs exist. I've interacted with them on Twitter, and I am to the left of them. In fact, I get along with a lot of Gen Z leftists who probably think that I'm not left enough, but you know, that's fine. Yeah, Rittenhouse too. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Let's watch. We're nearing the end of here. We got like 40 seconds left.
We get it. Boomers dropped the ball on the environment. We did. We dropped it like it was hot.
Yeah, you did.
And for that, I can only say, whoops. Yeah, you're right. We dropped it. But have you picked it up?
Because that's our fucking responsibility. Like, get the fuck out of here. What a stupid thing to say. Let's hear how stupid that is. Like,
You're right, we
we
dropped it. But
dropped it.
have you
Whoops.
picked it up?
Have you picked it up? That's like just like boomers like taking out their own shit and smearing it on the walls and be like, "Are you gonna clean it up?" I mean, I know I'm the one who just smeared my feces all over the walls, but when are you gonna take responsibility and clean the shit off the walls? Fucking young person. What a stupid thing to say. What a complete abdication for any moral responsibility for your shitty political decisions. Like, you could just admit, Bill Maher, that you voted for Reagan because you're a piece of fucking shit. I don't know that you voted for Reagan, but I get the feeling you voted for Reagan because you're a complete and utter sack of shit, you know? Yeah, we set a fire, but have you put it out? No, you may not use my house. Oh my god. If you haven't fixed the problem, if you haven't fixed the problems we've created, you can't criticize us for creating them in the first place. Yeah, what? What? Good god.
I wish your generation was better than mine. I really do. But the
Me
sad
too.
truth is, we're completely the same. Lots of talk, and at the end of the day, hopelessly seduced and addicted to pigging out on convenience, luxury, and consumption.
Here's the thing. If he was right about saying we're all the same, then what's your solution here? It seems like his solution is to say that like we're all the same and the problem is like these like individual life choices. It's that like we're addicted to like garbage things that are causing the problems. And not the idea that maybe if we had a system which incentivized things differently, that would go a long way to like mitigating these problems. But he's not advocating for that. He's just like you need to make better personal choices and change the culture around like food choices. As if like the fact that we've been all the same and we've been all the same generation after generation and generation, that somehow our generation is just going to go, you know what, I'm going to just choose to forego the things that everyone else is partaking in, and we're gonna shed the wanting of sugars. It's all just it's just all gonna go away. We're no longer gonna want it anymore. Like, I don't even think he's saying like he's condemning them. I mean, he's condemning us for blaming them, right? So like, there's a sense in which like he's like lacking any moral responsibility, which is the annoying part, which is that like we're all the same, but you're just as at fault as we are. When I actually think that that's the part that's wrong, where it's like, no, you're clearly more at fault. We might be at fault further down the road if we fuck this up, but he's clearly like they fucked it up first, you know? They could have, and they should take responsibility for that. We fucked up, but they don't. Instead, they're like, well, what about you? Yes, we are the same. The political and economic power imbalance that tends to favor the boomers makes us all equal and able to fix systemic issues while having someone with more power push in the opposite direction. There's just too damn many of them. That really is, that has always been the problem. Always been the problem.
So that's it. You can either be the fake tits and private jet generation or the one that saves the planet. But you can't be both because fake tits are not biodegradable.
Why not? Maybe they are. Why can't they be? And why, like, I mean, there's also just the creepy element here, which is like underlying all of this is just a sense of fucking creepy misogyny. Just creepy misogyny. I suppose this is a distillation of the lib mindset. The established norm is for everyone to be bad and agree not to talk about it. You can only condemn it if you're perfect, and since you're not, I guess things are just bad. Yeah, when it's like, I don't know, here's a good solution. Maybe like engage in more political action to change things instead of focusing on the wrong things. It's just so silly. I'm never giving up my private jet. Uh, I think Mar enrages me as much as the Rebel Commander. Yeah, the only thing I'll say is the Rebel Commander is a lot more fascist. I don't think Maher's a fascist. Maher's just a fucking lib piece of shit.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.